Hey, it's Mark Kanty with Release Dynamics, and I'm here again with Dr. Loren M. Hill of the Acclivity. And once again, you can find Dr. Hill at theacclivity.com, and that's the Acclivity with 2 C's. And we'll make sure that there's a link to her website right around this video somewhere when you watch it. If you're listening to this as a podcast, it'll be in the description below so that you can learn more about Dr. Hill and some of the things that she can do to help educators advance their career in academia. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Dr. Hill. Thanks so much for taking the time to participate in this interview again today.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me on again.
You bet. So Dr. Hill and I were talking, as a matter of fact, last time we were having a chat and we were talking about what's going on right now in academia and in particular how educators are under stress and things that might be happening. And one of the things that Dr. Hill brought up is she's finding that, you know, there are teachers and educators out there that are frustrated and that are thinking maybe it's time to leave their current job because nothing's happening. They're not getting paid. Or maybe they don't have any teaching assignments and they're really getting frustrated and wanting to maybe flip the switch and move on to something else. So Dr. Hill, without me dominating the space, I know you're the expert in this field. So perhaps you could share with us what are some of the common problems that educators are facing right now that are stuck in that situation? And how do you see them dealing with that? What are some of the obstacles or maybe mistakes that they could make by pulling the switch too quickly?
So, Mark, what I've been seeing lately is a lot of anxiety, distress. We're in, as we all know, very unique times with the pandemic, and people are thinking, maybe I should quit. Should I start looking for another job? Or even if they were thinking about leaving before, they had some plans to, I'm going to transition out. And they're just like, oh my God, I can't leave now because of the uncertainty, right? They want to make sure they have a steady paycheck. We're also seeing cuts, right? Enrollment is down. The way in which education is being delivered in higher ed is really changing rapidly. And one of the things that I have noticed in my 25 plus years in academia is that actually the landscape is always changing. So there may be some things that happen to a particular institution, or there may be some things that happen to the complete area of higher education. But right now, we're seeing a lot of those, right? We're seeing the whole landscape of higher ed change, and how it impacts each institution is a little different. So then how that trickles down to the staff and the faculty and the students is really interesting. And so we are seeing a lot of things that we've never seen before, but we're seeing some things that we have seen before.
Wow. So, you know, it sounds to me like you need to kind of, I can imagine, you know, when somebody is under stress, there's kind of that knee-jerk reaction. We want to move quickly, you know, and sometimes, you know, when we move quickly, we make mistakes. So what would you say would be a couple of the top mistakes that you see people making or that they might stumble into? What would you suggest that people watch out for and not do? What would be some of the mistakes that somebody that's thinking, maybe it's time to quit? What would you suggest to them?
So I've got 3 things that I think would be helpful. First, do not make any decision brash. It's like, don't wake up in anxiety and stress going, I gotta quit today. Don't leave your job unless there's really something illegal going on or something that's really harming you in a way that cannot be rectified, right? So don't leave, but don't make any decision right now. Have a strategy. Don't leave, have a strategy. And then the third thing that I would say is don't isolate, right? Find someone to connect to that you can talk to about what's going on, who's outside, preferably of your institution, right? Because if you're all there together and you're experiencing some of the same things, we can sort of engage in like a little bit of groupthink maybe, or not seeing the larger picture. So try to connect with someone who's outside of your institution. So
excellent point. It reminds me of like the old corporate saying about be careful of what's hanging around the water cooler, because usually there's no good coming from those conversations. and yeah, the group think, and it's, it's that downward spiral. Of course, now a lot of us are doing it virtually, but the proverbial water cooler is probably still there in the corner. So really good point, getting that outside perspective, that we all need when we're in that moment of stress, and when we're in that moment of crisis, if you will, in some cases. Yeah, excellent point. Can you elaborate, a little bit more about maybe some of the more proactive things that somebody could do within their organization? So, one of the things you and I had talked about was, just because things are quiet and you're not getting work, but you're also not getting laid off, that, there might be other things going on. So what are some of the proactive things that an educator could do instead of just kind of sitting and waiting? In other words, instead of being reactive, how could one be proactive?
I love this idea of being proactive. I think we often have more control than we think we do. And so when we're under stress or pressure, then, the tendency is to just kind of go inward and just be quiet or be still or use all your resources to kind of just be in survival mode. But
Yes.
there's a couple things that you can definitely do that would be helpful. And I would say, again, it's okay to be quiet and be internal, but be reflective, right? So take this time to take stock in what's going on. See what's going on at the university, ask your department chair or your dean or someone who may know, and rather than just coming up with like this whole narrative of, oh my God, they're getting ready to fire me in 5 minutes, when really, they're not thinking about you. Or if they are thinking about you, they're thinking about how to give you some more courses, right? So what we often imagine could be very different than what's going on in reality. So be reflective and reach out, see what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, I would say, in addition to finding out what's going on in the university, stay abreast of higher ed, in its totality. This is the domain or discipline or industry, if you will, that you are working in or want to work in. So it would behoove you to find out what is going on so that you are educated about what's happening in real time.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent points. And yeah, no need to be in, as you say, in isolation. There are lots of opportunities to reach out and figure out what's going on, and to be a solution, be part of the solution. As people say, the saying is be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So if you're, the old saying, how can I help? Just simply getting in touch with your department head or anyone for that matter and say, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I participate in this? What also comes to mind too, when you're talking about taking inventory, I think that's a really, these are times when we do have these times of pause. How many times are we busy, and we go, oh, when I get around to it, I'll update my CV, or I'll take that course, or I'll do something to better myself. Well, now we're in one of those times, which is an opportune time for actual improvement. And you and I talked a while back, about a month ago, I think, on one of our interviews, one of our discussions, and you brought up the idea of the transformation to digital and how there's great opportunities, free opportunities to learn just by going on YouTube and learning how to be an online educator. So how to teach and how to keep people's attention and how to keep a classroom engaged when you're using a computer as opposed to being live. So I think that was an awesome skill set that you pointed out, that maybe a lot of people are thinking, well, I can't wait till the old days return, instead of realizing they ain't returning. It's time to upgrade and to figure out how to make these machines work for us and how to be that engaging go-to person, because that could be the difference between you being the one that's chosen to stick around and somebody else that's laid off is, if you can come in with a certificate or even, demonstrating that you're savvy with teaching any level of education online, that could be a huge feather in your cap. So I love the fact that you brought that up. Dr. Hill, as always, you just bring up some really good points and a level head, to be calm and think this through and to really plan your future. I think one of the other things that maybe you did mention that I'll throw in there too is to think about your ideal future. What is your ideal career in education look like in the future? How do you incorporate that? And what are the benefits of working at home? What are the benefits of being able to work remotely or in flex time and stuff? There's lots of things that can help you think positively about your career in academia and how these transformations often bring really exciting changes that can benefit everyone. So I'm going to ask you one more question. And that, of course, relates to you. And we all know that this is what you do, a big part of what you do. We know that you're also a clinical psychologist and you've got a lot of other things on your plate, but that you help educators to advance their careers in academia. So what are some of the benefits that someone could expect from working with you to help, transition through these changing times and the transformation that we're under in education and academia right now? What would be some of those benefits of working with you?
So some of the benefits of working with me are that, as I mentioned earlier, I've been in this field for over 25 years. So I've seen changes in the landscape. And I think I have come to the point where I now am able to forecast things. So if I follow the trends and I see how things are going, I'm like, oh, you know what? This is a great time to be thinking about a promotion, or this is a great time to be thinking about becoming an adjunct, because this is when the hiring cycle occurs, or this is when the promotion cycle occurs. And so really being able to have these one-on-one conversations where I can bring my, vast experience to the individual is something that I think is helpful. The other thing is that I am a very good strategist, right? So having a coach is great. I'm the biggest fan of coaches. I'm a coach, and there's different styles of coaching. And my style is really about strategizing. So we have to look at, as you mentioned before, not just where we are currently, but where do we want to go in the future? So the work that we have done in the past and the work that we're doing now, how do we think about that for a year from now or 5 years from now? So forward thinking strategy is also one of the things that people can expect to work with me. And I'll just add that working with me is fun, right? So somebody might say, well, oh my gosh, promotion, how is that fun? Or trying to find a job, how is that fun? Well, it's fun because I'm going to help you, right? You don't have to go at it alone. There's some things that we do in my program that really are to lift the burden. And, this is also evident in some of my reviews and feedback is that, wow, Dr. Hill, working with her was fun. Like that is actually something that's been used, or I see things completely differently, or I started off really disheartened. And now I've found a way to actually stay at my institution and carve out my niche, and I'm now thriving.
Excellent. And such great points. So often people can kind of feel down and look at a job or their work as being, something that they don't want to do. But really, it needs to be, your career needs to be something you're excited about, that you're passionate about. And yeah, we all get in the doldrums, and particularly when we're under stress and when we're in moments of crisis that we are right now. But having a mentor, having somebody that can kind of coach us back to that positive state of mind where we're excited and we're looking forward to the plan and making it fun, because, hey, if we're going to do it 8 hours a day, it better be fun. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I just want to wrap up here by giving people a couple little things here. You can obviously check out Dr. Loren M. Hill online. Her website is The Acclivity, which is the word the, Acclivity, A-C-C, two C's, ACCLIVITY.com. If you want to talk to Dr. Hill, she is more than happy to have a complimentary session with you and chat with you and see what your needs are. Obviously, there needs to be a fit in order to work together. So there's an opportunity to do that. If you listen to some of the recordings, some of the podcasts, some of the interviews, or see them on YouTube, you'll get a real flavor for how the great tips and how Dr. Hill is able to just take all of those ideas. You can imagine what it would be like working with her one-on-one. If you want to skip straight to the chase and book a time to have a chat and see if there's an opportunity to work together and whether Dr. Hill can help you, you can go to theacclivity.com/consult. So again, theacclivity.com/consult, CONSULT. So you can go straight to that link and you'll end up on her calendar and you can find a convenient time to have a quick chat with her. So those are some of the ways to get in touch with Dr. Hill. And again, you will see links around this video or in the podcast description below to make it easy for you to get in touch. We encourage you, both of us, to really look proactively right now at the landscape, because with crisis comes opportunity. I know there's a Sun Tzu saying or something around that, but there really is a tremendous opportunity as education goes through this transformation, and it's a time to be excited and to be out there and to be part of that transformation. So I really encourage you to speak with Dr. Hill about that, how you can be part of the new education that's coming down the road for us. Any other parting comments, Dr. Hill?
I think you covered it all, Mark. Wow, that's great. I think that our time spent together, now you're giving me the outro. So thanks again. And yes, please do feel free to connect with me on social media, book a consult. It's a free consult. Let's talk, 30 minutes. We can see what we have in common and if it's a good fit. And I look forward to meeting you.